gentlemen.
Welcome to Patriot News on Channel 27.
I'm your host, Olivia Kern.
And I am your other host, Artem Javahian.
Our top story for today is the Americans won the Battle of Saratoga.
Where's Saratoga?
I believe it's in upper state New York.
Who cares?
Anyway, we are going to our top news reporter, Grayson Millette, interviewing George Washington. Grayson, to you.
Thank you, Olivia. Now I'm here with General Washington. Mr. Washington?
General, to you.
My apologies, General. General Washington, how long were you General of the Continental
I
Army?
was general from the Continental Army from 1775 to 1781.
Now, how important is this war to you?
It is very important. They asked me to be the general, and I said yes because I want to be free.
I received news that you have defeated the Hessians at Trent. How did that battle go?
It was great. We had a surprise attack on Christmas, and it was very, very, very hard, but we succeeded, and we defeated the Hessians.
And one last question for you here, General. If you win the war, do you think that the new country will succeed?
I think it will succeed very much. I think that if we do win the war, it will be a very exciting day for us, and we will start a new country, and it will succeed. Yes.
Thank you, General. Back to you, Olivia.
Thank you, Grayson. Next up, Baron von Steuben.
Steuben.
Whatever. Anyway, before Baron von Steuben, we have a commercial break.
Having problems making butter? You won't have problems making the new. With the new and improved butter churner. It churns butter in minutes. Its wood lasts longer than the old one. The butter is thicker and it tastes way better. Even George Washington churns butter. It makes more with the new and improved butter churner. Only $14.95, $10.99 shipping and handling. Butter may have weird aftertaste. Thank you.
Back to Patriot News. Now, her own anchor, Olivia Kern, is interviewing Baron von Steuben. Olivia, to you.
Thank you, Artem. Now, Baron von Steuben.
It's Steuben.
Okay, Steuben. What is it like being in the Prussian army?
Well, the Prussian army has its ups and its downs. It was a bit difficult, but I overcame it. But it gave me a good experience in the army, and I think that was very good for me. I mean, it was nice being there. I felt nice and at home, sort of. But yeah, it has its ups and downs.
Okay, I heard you were creating a system of progressive training. Is that true?
Yes, that is true. I have created an systematic approach to battling, and I think it was better than the previous because they were just lining up and firing, and then they were reloading, but that made them very vulnerable. But I think this way it has a better chance for them to attack and defeat the enemy. And we had to train the soldiers a lot so that they could get this, but it goes fire, one motion, then it's half cock, fire lock, and that is one motion also. Then handle cartridge, which is one motion, then prime, one motion, then shot, pan, one motion, then charge with cartridge, one motion. I can't remember them very well. So draw rammer, which is two motions, I'm pretty sure. Then ram down cartridge, which is one motion, and then return rammer two motions. And that is the new systematic approach that I have created.
Good. What is your impression of Washington's Continental Army while you stay at Valley Forge?
I don't think that they have a lot of discipline with George Washington, but I think that it is getting better. Especially when I yell at them, they are doing well. They're getting better.
Oh, well, thank you for your time. I know you have a lot of work ahead of you.
Yes, I do, but I think I can overcome it.
Okay, thank you to you, Artem.
Thank you, Olivia.
You're welcome.
How did you get here so quickly?
Harrison taught me magic.
Okay then. I have something coming in. Joseph Sorcy and General Burgoyne with the loss of Battle Saratoga. Joseph, to you.
Thank you. Now, I am here with the General Burgoyne after just losing the Battle of Saratoga. Burgoyne. That's a funny name. Burgoyne.
Excuse me. My name is passed down from generation to generation, and it is not for your amusement.
I'm sorry, Burgoyne. Okay. So, General, I understood that you, along with 2 other British generals, had a strategy on taking over the state of New York.
That is correct. Lieutenant Colonel Barry and St. Ledger was to come from Lake Ontario, and General Howe was to meet me in Albany from New York City. Myself ventured from Canada south to Albany.
Huh, I see. Why do many officials nickname you Gentleman Johnny?
Well, I do enjoy fine dining and entertainment. My army is not the most expedite of forces. All victories must be celebrated.
How did you feel when General Howe and the Colonial State Ledger did not recognize you with you in Albany?
Very disappointed. I do not understand why General Howe would forget about our strategy and chase Washington into Pennsylvania. Also, St. Ledger should have defeated such a ragtag group of colonial troops despite him believing they had a large army.
In your opinion, who served America victory at Saratoga?
Though Horatio Gates is given credit for the victory, in my honest opinion, it was Benedict Arnold who won the Battle of Saratoga. His parading around the field like a madman on his horse scared even the Hessians under my command.
What are your plans for the rest of your defeats?
Try and throw a party doing my opportunity in a colonial prison.
This is Joseph Sorcy with John Burgoyne. sorry. Back to you, Artem and Olivia.
Thank you, Joseph. Next coming up is my own report with Thomas Jefferson after this commercial.
The turtle. Did you ever want to go underwater? If you answered yes, then you should buy the turtle. You can use it to burrow into people's ships. It only hurts 1 person, and you can go explore the sea. It's a great submarine. The turtle only costs $20.99, $5.99 shipping and handling. Thank you.
Now we have a special interview with Thomas Jefferson.
Mr. Jefferson.
Okay, Mr. Jefferson. How do you feel about the creation of Declaration of Independence?
It is very important. I am humbled by Mr. John Adams' decision to elect me as the author.
So, Mr. Jefferson, what are you planning to do after signing the Declaration of Independence?
I will continue to serve America and make it as best as it can be.
I heard that you are planning to separate the church from the state. Why is that?
I believe that everyone shall not be restricted to one general religion. Religion is a personal thing, so you should be able to choose your religion freely.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jefferson. Now, Artem, I hear there is another reporter coming in. Artem, to you. Thank you. Now, Artem, I heard recently you had an interview with John Paul Jones.
Oh yes, it went a little bit like I'm here now with Captain John Paul Jones, now as the father of the American Navy. Now, Captain Jones, you are a handsome man, I must say. Why, thank you, Artem. You are quite striking yourself. Thank you, much appreciated. Now, am I to understand that you are not an actual American naval officer? How can you be the father of the American Navy by not necessarily being a member? Well, Artem, the American Navy was not formed till later in the history of the United States. I, myself, am actually a privateer. A privateer? What exactly is a privateer? A privateer is a sailor commissioned by a government to attack its enemy, vessels, and steal what goods they might have. So, in a sense, you are a pirate? Well, yes, but a legal pirate. The job of myself and my men were to attack British merchant vessels and steal their cargo over in Europe. That way, British warships would spend more time protecting their own ships in Europe and not help with stopping the rebellion, what was occurring in the colonies. I did not know that. How interesting. Now, explain to our audience your famous victory over the HMS Serapis. Well, my ship, the Bonhomme Richard, which has 42 guns on it, was part of a squadron of ships meant to attack a large merchant convoy of the coast of Flamborough Head, which is in Britain. A much larger British warship, the HMS Serapis, which had 50 guns to its name, but itself between the convoy and ourselves. We engaged in battle for over an hour. Being that my ship was smaller and Captain Pearson, the captain of the Serapis, had the wind in his favor, I sent the Bonhomme Richard in to get her tangled with the Serapis. Captain Pearson asked for my surrender, which I said, I have not yet begun to fight. My ship, at this time, was burning and sinking. The British tried to board my ship. Before they could do this, one of my sailors threw a grenade onto the Serapis and ignited a large quantity of gunpowder, thwarting their attempt. Seeing now I had the advantage, Captain Pearson surrendered to me. My crew took the Serapis as a prize and scuttled the Bonhomme Richard since it was not salvageable. Wow, what an incredible story. Did you receive any recognition for your victory? Yes, I did. King Louis XVI of France honored me with the title of Chevalier, though the British call me a pirate. Do I say Cavalier or Chevalier? There you have it. Right from the mouth of Captain John Paul Jones, father of the American Navy. Thank you for your time. Back to you, Olivia.
Thank you, Artem. Next up, Remy Taylor interviewing a colonist from Valley Forge. Remy, to you.
Thank you, Olivia. Now I'm here with, what's your name?
Samuel Johnson.
Okay, Samuel Johnson. How were the conditions at the camp at Valley Forge?
It was horrendous. It was damp and at crowded quarters. I even lost my finger.
That's horrible. How many people do you think died?
About 2,000 died.
Were there lots of food, and did you miss your family?
Oh, I really missed my family, and there was very little food and clothes there, yes.
I also heard about some German officer running around camp. What is that about?
That's a very long story, but...
Get back to your training, now!
That sounds horrible. Okay.
Yes, well, I have to go now.
Okay, thank you, Samuel Johnson, and back to you, Olivia.
Thank you, Xavier. Where's Artem?
I don't know, but I'm his backup co-host.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, now we have Ethan Diniaco interviewing Horatio Gates. To you, Ethan.
Thank you, Olivia. And now I am here with General Horatio Gates. So, General, is it true that you and George Washington were not friends?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I think I was friends with him, just not good friends. We were in a miniature battle with each other. So in a way, I hated him and wanted his fat butt out of the army so that I could take over.
How did it feel to defeat General Burgoyne in the Battle of Saratoga?
Well, it felt good to defeat him, but I wasn't actually the one to beat him. It was Benedict Arnold, who ultimately led to our victory. We got into a big argument when I said not to attack, but he didn't listen. So I actually have to thank him for that. But other than that, he was just a big fat traitor.
Speaking of traitors, how did it feel to lose at the Battle of Camden?
Okay. So maybe I did a few wrong things, but in my defense, I could have been killed. But I regret these actions as they got me fired and a really bad reputation. So it felt pretty bad.
Thank you, General. Back to you, Olivia.
Thank you, Remy. Now, next up, Battle of Trenton, our star reporter, Ethan Diniaco.
Thank you, Aram. And now I am here with a colonial soldier and a Hessian soldier at the Battle of Trenton. I have a few questions for you, and here we go. What was it like at Trenton? Was it cold or warm, good or bad?
It was very cold and miserable. I mean, we were out in the middle of a frozen river on Christmas Eve. It was horrible.
Okay, and how did it feel to defeat the Hessians?
It felt half and half. We beat one of the most well-trained groups of soldiers in the world, but on the other hand, they were pretty easy to beat. They were half asleep and pretty drunk.
Shut up!
Okay, why did you and the others attack on Christmas Eve?
We attacked on Christmas Eve because we thought that they would never expect it.
And why were you based at Trenton?
Well, we were based at Trenton because we were chasing the pesky Americans. We decided to stop and rest when we crossed the Delaware River because it was winter. We did not follow them.
And were you surprised by the surprise attack?
Well, duh. We did not expect it, and we did not have enough time to get our guns. So, yeah.
And why do you think the colonial soldiers won the battle?
As was it. Just told you the reason.
Okay, and how many colonial soldiers faced how many Hessians?
Well, I believe that us colonials had about 2,400 against the Hessians.
Had 1,520.
And do you think the outcome of the battle would have a big effect or a small effect on the war if the Hessians had won?
It would have had a large effect on the end result of the war, because if we had not won, the Hessians and the British would have had the upper hand, and that would have changed everything.
Thank you, and now back to you, Olivia.
Okay, thank you, Ethan. Next up,
Benedict Arnold being interviewed by Xavier Migliaccio. To you, Xavier.
Thank you. Now, General Arnold, I understand that early in the war you wanted to invade Canada. Is that true?
That is correct. My plan was to overtake Canada since it was right for the picking. If only General Montgomery would have done his job, we would have taken Quebec and secured our victory.
So you blame General Montgomery for your loss of Quebec?
Absolutely. It was all his fault.
Okay then, how did you feel that Horatio Gates got all of the credit for winning at Saratoga, though you were essential to the colonial victory?
Horatio Gates is a thief. He stole my honor of claiming victory. I was the one attacking, but going these lines. I was the one who got shot in the leg, overwhelming the British picket lines. But he gets the credit. I do not wish to talk about Gates ever again.
Is this the reason that you betrayed the colonists to the British and gave detailed plans about Fort West Point?
First of all, Mr. Migliaccio, my wife is a fine British wife. Just because she wished to join the Loyalist forces on in the war did not change my mind to join the Continentals. However, Montgomery Montgomery's bundling and Gates's betrayal was the last straw. I do not care if people call me a traitor. I need to look after myself. This interview is over.
Okay, well, that was Benedict Arnold. Back to you, Olivia and Nardum.
Well, that was our show for tonight. Watch next week on Patriot News 27.
Good night, everybody. And that's the way it is.